people we are and how thrilled we are to do big things or better things, trying to grow horizontally, vertically. And I hope that you're all actually living this process as I am living it.
Este momento,
Right now, I think that we are going to leap forward. It's actually a qualitative leap, not so much a quantitative leap. And during the next few months, you will start seeing the initiatives that we have thought of, and I hope that you will be as excited as we are. As for logistics or the structure for this afternoon, it has already been announced. It's going to be divided into two parts. This is our first part, only for us, only for the staff, so that we can talk with comfort. I mean, so that we are in our comfort zone. I know that I will run out of time, but this is just for us to spend some quality time together as family, as friends, because we're actually a family of professionals. And I think that we are a family that really gets along. And we will also have during the next part some clients, old colleagues, friends, what I call the extended family. Because in the end, as I will say during the second part of the event, that barrier separating employees from employers, from clients, providers, is actually disappearing. Someone who's a competitor, someone who belongs to your channel. I mean, I always have the feeling that I'm working with the same people. People who may be an employee at some point, and then they're entrepreneurs, then I become their partners, then they become our clients, then they are just our employees once again, then they recommend us. And I think that in the end, things are to be done amongst people, not amongst companies. And in the end, the way in which we look for each other, the values we share, make our relationships long-lasting and stable. And that's what actually builds that ecosystem of people who are always involved. Why have we created a brand? You know that I sent you lots of different questions. I sent you an email with lots of the different questions, and people told me, how come we changed this? How come we created that? Well, I think that when we started thinking that we had to do more things, that we had to really try and become leaders in many different projects, we started thinking that it wasn't really what we were doing at every moment, but rather how we faced the different challenges. And when there is a synergy, when we see an opportunity to unite different teams who knew each other for a very long time, who shared many things and that complement each other, we really felt like creating a new place where we could have common values, and then the specialization or the services that we could provide in the future could inherit those values of the group, those values of that common brand. And we decided to create a brand which, as our marketing people told us, because we didn't really know much about marketing 2 months ago, when you create a brand, that brand is usually void and you have to fill it with many things. And we started actually creating a cocktail recipe. You know, we started playing with Recon, Medionet, Ruder, Vidium Labs, Juice. Now there are people who are in Sngular people also were included in that cocktail, and we started pressing those fruits so that we could get juices and vitamins that are the values that those companies have. And sometimes those vitamins or principles or values are common to all of those different companies. Then we started adding some other ingredients, which were initiatives that we had wanted to do for a very long time, but we didn't do because we weren't strong enough. But now together we're strong enough to do this. And we have started shaking things up, and that cocktail is now getting ready, and let's hope it's not a Molotov cocktail. And there's a missing ingredient for that cocktail, but I will tell you about that missing ingredient later on. Before I do, I'd like someone who's helped us build this brand and this image, someone who's been with us this last few months, someone who shared many things with us. All of the teams have been sharing many things with them. We have really learned their language. They have learned about our history, our values, our objectives. And I think that we're all very happy, very satisfied with the result. That person is Enrique Acosta, and I'm going to help him to come here. He's got an agency. He's got a very long experience and very long professional trajectory. He worked for Market Edison, for TAPSA. He was the leader for different brand creation readaptation. So I'd like a round of applause for Enrique so that he can really tell us the story of Sngular. Thank you, José Luis. Thank you for your words, your kind words, José Luis. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Trecone, Medianet. Good afternoon, Video Labs, because you say there's 200 people, but I can't see anyone. I really feel like I'm part of you. You can see the first row, then there's 200 people, and then there are 80 more people listening to us through streaming. So good afternoon, Valnutter, Sngular Mini. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hay dos cosas.
There are two things, José Luis, that I'm not going to be saying. No, don't worry, I haven't followed the script. So first of all, people from marketing or branding people really think that it is amazing, that it is worthy of praise. This internal communication exercise that José Luis is actually doing here with you, because those persons who have a contact with the brands created are you, because you live with those brands on a daily basis. So the best way of involving you is, you said that everyone here is an engineer, but I can see art here as well. I see much creativity here. As a matter of fact, our .cloud has been reworked a number of times, but we have never circulated the logo brand with these dots. So this will be contemplated as a branding or internal communication exercise. You really don't know how much lays behind something as simple as this. You all come from the world of science. Our process is not science. Our brand creation process is not science, but there is a methodology, and I will explain that lightly to you so that you see that there is a certain rigor, because sometimes we think that branding, communication, marketing is subjective, but in this case it isn't. It's been passionating, really. It's been really amazing. These 3 months work that we have gone through, sailing through this process, being inside of you, in your shoes. This has been a journey that José Luis and I will try to summarize for you, and we will try to tell you everything that's really important about this new process that we have been working on. Actually, there was a challenge. There was an important challenge ahead. This is not a brand creation process. When we started working on this, we were actually facing an integration process, because we have created a brand, it's true, but we didn't come from scratch. We came from 5 companies that are working, 5 companies with their accounting, with their process, their clients, their businesses, their way of creating loyalty, their vision, etc., etc. And the challenge was actually to be able to create one company that would be much more than the addition of those 5 companies. And something that fascinated us from the beginning was, and you actually made it very easy for us to do, was that you already shared a common space. You shared a territory, a conceptual territory that allowed for our work to be a bit simpler. Since we're talking about brands, let's talk about what brands are to us. Because we're actually going to be presenting your new brand, but brands stopped being a simple provider or product or services provider long ago. We who are at this side of communication constantly make an effort to make them become experience generators, content providers, conscience providers, culture providers, etc., etc. This tangible value or the intangible value are both very important. There isn't an agreement with regards to what's worth more, the brand Coca-Cola, the intangible Coca-Cola, or all of the assets of the company. We're talking vehicle fleets, factories, bottling factories. There isn't an agreement. But from the point of view of branding and communication, brand is built considering everything that lays beneath it. We're going to see the beautiful part of it. We're going to analyze all the shiny stuff. Our logo, our communication language, what will be our discourse, our narrative. But as José Luis said, that brand has to be filled with content. What gives value and what gives solidity is everything that lies underneath what you already have. So that is what you are going to have to share with other companies, and you will have to link it to Sngular. So we're going to take a little trip. We're going to talk about naming. We're going to talk about the logo. We're going to talk about some of the attributes of the brand, and we're going to talk about communication, language, and positioning. Everything that's important so that tomorrow, as of tomorrow, you can really be the leaders of a discourse, of a leadership, of a narrative that is in sync with the brand that we have created. And this is not science, but I need you to understand the rigor of the process that has been followed, because it is a rigorous process. So I'm going to tell you how our tool works. It is a consultancy tool. It is Health Check. It is actually for the analysis of the health status of a brand. The first thing we did in this process that was started in June was to really study in depth the situation of all the different companies. I'm sure you remember the long questionnaires we sent you on the interviews on the phone. We had to analyze you. We needed to open you up and get to know you. And then we needed to know what was your landscape. Who were you fighting against? Who are your competitors? Who will be by our side when our value proposition is constant? Who will be there? Accenture? Who will be there? We're talking global landscape. And during that first audit analysis phase, we also wanted to be in the shoes of your clients, those people who will have to make the final decision. What are their fears, their objectives, their quality parameters, their needs? We needed to study that point as well. And the second phase, which is the fun one, is the strategy game. Now that we have analyzed everything, what is the direction we need to follow? What is our road? This road that we are starting here that will make us different. And finally, the creation process, which is the consequence or the result of it all. And fourthly, we will do management. That's what we will do in 1 or 2 years' time. And then finally, we'll have to analyze. So we started with naming. I wanted to tell you, I don't know if you're interested, but we actually had lots of different proposals, lots of different names, and I proposed them, and some of the names were really, really good, and those names went through different filters or hoops so that they could become an initiative in this technological consultancy business that we have, which isn't really consultancy, but we'll talk about that. But naming has to have a territory it belongs to, and that's the territory that actually synthesizes the value promise. So what did we find with regards to naming? The leaders of the 5 companies present here today, after lots of debate, realized that there was one territory that was common to you all, the fact that you were singular. There was singularity. So we understood from the beginning that our brand had to have singular in it, part of the word singular. So we decided be singular, singular ing with one I, with 2 I's, with lots of different alternatives. Actually gotten it from our logo because it is innovation, intelligence, ideas, impulse. I is part of your discourse, is part of your sales speech, because it does not just represent everything that I am mentioning here. The dot on the I is actually what you have been working on here. And now we go to communication language. We create a brand with a name, with some values, and that brand has to be able to talk, to express itself. And how can you differentiate yourselves in your competitors' environment? How do you move? How do you behave? Because brands don't talk the same way in the financial world than in the entertainment world or in a fair or in a value proposition pitch. So we have tried to synthesize this, and you have done it actually here. We started from a conceptual standpoint, and all of the dots on that eye were one of the 300 employees in the group, because they're actually the gene of the transformation. You're actually a tide of knowledge. We have tried to get to know you. Oh, genetics. I shouldn't talk genetics because there are experts in the room. Well, maybe they can get something out of this. Maybe we could get a sample. Who knows? We did that, and we actually did a test to see what the blood in Spain was made of, and we took samples all over Spain, and we did that blood tests all over the country. So what we want to say is that lack of an eye is due to the fact that we are giving our eye to our clients, and also because each of those dots symbolizes you, each and every one of you who have created that wall that we will have to use somehow to do something. And this touches on the language, communication, what I was trying to say. We have thought of two different communication languages. We have a brand is created, it has a name, it has a territory, it has a value, but now it has to walk, it has to talk. And we have created a graphic language, an institutional one that is a bit more sober, neutral, that uses silver, blue, black, and gray. And it is for institutional communications, formal communications, for instance, the skins on computers and so on. It is a sort of language that is a bit more sober, more classic. And then we have the other language, which is the sales or commercial language, the Sngular language, where all the synergies of all the companies meet, which is that dot tide. We call them change vectors. All of those dots are change vectors, and they are singular dots. You can do whatever you want to do with them. All of this started with a metaphor. They said, we are like the Walking Dead. We are a virus. We're the ones biting the client, but instead of infecting them, we are actually somehow giving them positivity. We are the retrovirus. That is what this argument leads us to. You are dots. You are a transformation gene. In your origin, in your transformation, you have that possibility, transforming others. So what is our positioning here? Well, for those who work in marketing, know that positioning is, if I close my eyes and I think Heineken, quickly in my brain, a series of spaces will be activated. Transgressor, beer, Holland, Europe. Certain values start moving around. What do we want people to think when we say Sngular, when our potential clients, friends, collaborators think about our brand? Well, what we would want them to think, or what we have been working on, we have been trying to leave consultancy away from our speech. It was intentional. We didn't want to say, we are the new consultancy service. We are the new paradigm of consultancy. This is a new exercise of consultancy. No, consultants are consultants. We could do that, but we would do much more than that. So we wanted to have a singular name as well, and I see here that there is a mistake. Or, I don't know, maybe you have changed one of my words because this is my presentation. Well, we wanted to talk about talent. We wanted to talk about talent. We are doers, but we are makers. We need to anticipate technology, speed, disruption. We have to go at a higher speed than big consultancies we will be competing against, and that is why we don't want to be consultants. We are startups, and the last T is team. The whole project from the beginning was people-centric. The attribute, the value, person was present since the first conversation with José Luis a long time ago. So, and that is why there is internal communication. The concept team The concept team is actually the addition of many people who work together, who are hopeful, and that is why the word team is present in the whole speech, the whole brand speech, agility, efficiency. And José Luis was always saying that something identifies you, that identifies almost everyone. Here is not just being close and being service-centric and agile. It's also that you are kind. You love your work, and you are not just good at what you do, you're also kind. And those are the differences that create the intangible.
Si somos talent.
So if we are TTT, internally we've named that TTT. Why are we here? What is our argument? Why are we on that planet, on this communication planet? Well, we're here to work, and because we want to be successful. That's the main axis of our speech, the speech we're giving to our customers. So you might wonder, what's the effect on that on my company? Well, minimally, every brand works on its own, but then there's these big change drivers, and there's a language, the institutional language, which is a bit more formal, but then there's also every company's own language. So if every company wants to have its own communication model, they can use these dots, that are forming a cloud, with proposals for their customers. So we keep the logo, the brand, and we replace software with Sngular software. So the endorsement here is a tagline, is like a tag accompanying the brand. That's the case of MediaNet, Walnutters. So we keep the green, but we have we have the green color that is present with the dots as well. And we have the Sngular apps. So we've lost the symbol in the Sngular apps. And we have our Sngular meaning, which was going through a transformation process as well. But here, as the meaning, Sngular meaning, is the one that join, in the end of the process, the rest of the others. But here, this is a business area of the main corporation. So the change happened fast, and all what we've been talking about it's easier to analyze it if we look at the video, if we watch the video we've created. So yes, we should put the video on now.
Por favor, no os equivoquéis y pongáis.
Pues nada, José Luis.
Muchas gracias, Enrique.
Thank you, Enrique. So I hope you all like the brand as much as we do like it, the ones that have worked on that since the beginning. A few months ago, I didn't make a difference between a tagline and a logo, etc. And well, we've gradually learned a lot about it, and we've achieved, something big here. So we want to create this between all of us, but we miss one ingredient. I don't know if you've thought about that ingredient that's missing. So I'm asking you, sorry for the ones that are listening to us through the streaming, but those of you who are here inside the room, what ingredient would you add to that cocktail so that it be totally explosive? Anyone who wants to talk? So what would you add? We've talked about capacity, complementary experiences. Some of you are experts in startups, in launching new applications. So sometimes we find an expert company in artificial intelligence with a lot of products, with using a lot of new technologies, a lot of content technologies. Then I look at MediaNet, and I see that we also do design. We have a lot of things. We have startups, e-commerce. Warner does strategy, digital marketing. I always forget about some of the companies because there's so many of them. But anyway, I'm sorry. What else can we add to our experience, our competencies, our professionality? We can add so the honesty, the excitement, our commitment. What else? We've also added to that cocktail this acidity at some stages, because sometimes we need to run risks, with startups. And sometimes those startups grow big and they get their own life. What can we add? Help me out here. Yes, we can dream as well. We can, set a heart into those projects. But I also want to include other values, so please help me out here. What can we add to that cocktail? I'm sorry, but it's hard for me because I can't see your faces properly. And so I would also like to add a little ambition. That's someone from a poor region of Spain saying that. And we are hardworking people in Extremadura, but we are also good people, we are honest. I believe that sometimes we're a bit more modest than what people expect from us, but I do not want to, confuse arrogance with ambition, but I want to be honest. But I also want to say that we can achieve bigger things than what we want to at the beginning. Sometimes when we work as a team, we create big things. A lot of people boast about, creating things, but we do not want to do that. We want to create big things, and as if it was nothing. We are at a special moment where technology enables you to do more things. We have a lot of explosive capacities now, capabilities. Sometimes it's more about imagination, about knowing how to apply our knowledge, what we already know to do, to make bigger things, to make things that are more relevant. And sometimes we just need to wonder, why aren't we doing it? I think that technology started improving basic things, improving productivity, efficiency. We were able to make things available for the general public. But it gradually has an impact on our health, on our leisure activities, on our happiness maybe, and this is often about saying we will construct a project, build a project that will help me do that. I don't know if we will be the first one doing so, but I want to be the best one. So we try to convince customers to do things they don't believe they can do, to put them in a leader position. So we can do that with startups. Usually they open up new areas, they change the rules of the game, sometimes try to convince people to improve things. So I would like to make the most of this excuse of all these changes that are happening now to change our frame of mind and try to be a bit more ambitious in the positive sense of that word. So all the rest I had included in my notes was really, really good, but I've already spoken about that, about this positivism, this excitement, the fact that we're adding a lot of skills, a lot of drivers. So I hope you can be aware of that. And we are moving according to a script. We've completed all the points, but there's something else I have here on my notes, so I don't know if someone can help me with that, but I'd like to take a picture of all of us. Then I would like us to use our photo call. So sometimes we get together and we do not have the opportunity to have all of us together. That's a very rare occasion, so we should make the most of that. In a short while, we will start welcoming our customers. So there will be a lot of people, so we will not be able to speak to everyone, but I require help to welcome them, to explain to them how the event will go down. Then there's something that's a bit embarrassing. It's overbooking. We've started somewhere where we have a room for 250 people, but then we started to receive answers from our clients, and we have more than 400 seats, but more than 560 people who said that they would attend this event. So when they'll start joining us here, if there's always people who are not coming, at the last minute, but some of us might be standing here in the room, so I will ask you to please stand and not let our customers stand. So, and if we have all that people coming, I hope you don't mind if you go, in the next room and follow the event with the streaming. So I'm sorry it's a bit odd, but we need to give this comfort to our customers. So I'm sorry about that. So what else? A few logistics thing. Okay, we were speaking about something stupid during our lunch, but if you type Sngular in Google without the I, Google is not that smart, as it seems, but they give you the result of singular with the I. So if you type Sngular without the I, there's 10 results that are from within our company, so we do not have to compete with the white noise of other things. But until Google realizes that there is this singular concept without the I, it's good to tell Google, okay, no, I mean singular without the I. That's important, so that gradually Google will give out the singular result without the I to the audience looking up our brand. I don't know if I have to mention something else. So, thanks everyone once again. I'm sorry for coming here that late. My plane was delayed, so it will be difficult for me to speak with every one of you, but I will be at your disposal. I'm sure we will have a great time. I know it's a very good time now to get to know each other. Sometimes you only speak with people through a chat and a virtual chat. So welcome to everyone. Thanks for coming here and making this gathering possible, to enabling us to create something big after all this time working together. And apparently we've achieved to combine skills, and it's especially singular. So thank you all.
Nos venimos todos para hacer la foto, Alex.
So if you can all come here to take that picture. Thank you.
Vale. No, da igual, si quieres hacer aquí. Sí. Señores, vamos a empezar a hacer las fotos de familia. Sonrían, por favor. Venga, perfecto. Todo el mundo hacia adelante. Los que están en los extremos, por favor, acercaros un poquito más al centro, que si no, no saléis. Venga, sonreímos, sonreímos, sonreímos. Los puños abajo, por favor. Gracias. Una sonrisa más. Un segundito que va. Un segundito, que el cámara es reportero de guerra. Venga, venga, que ahí está, venga. Un grito de guerra. Venga, me da por válido, muchísimas gracias. Música alta.
I love my ugly boy, so rough and tough, don't care about anything but me. Yes, I just love him 'cause he's so crazy, just crazy about me.
Yeah.